Chosen one, it may come as a shock to some, but if you're truly called, if you're spiritually sensitive, if you're divinely marked by God, you know deep down that the greatest pain often doesn't come from the world, but from within the walls of the church. They thought they could bind you with doctrine, label you with rules, and silence the voice that speaks straight to your spirit. You have felt that sting of exclusion when you dare to question, and that tightness in your chest when you sense your soul demanded something more. You are not alone in this journey. Countless others have felt the tension between organized faith and inner knowing. Now, hidden truths that they feared would be exposed are coming to light. You will learn why you belong to every sacred path yet fit into none, why your soul transcends labels and refuses to be boxed in, and how your unique calling is part of a divine design they never saw coming. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about faith and freedom, recognizing truth beyond labels. Have you ever felt the walls of religion closing in on you, the weight of expectations pressing down like stones on your chest, and wondered if you were meant for something more than rigid rules and narrow doctrines? You lie awake at night, replaying moments when your heart leapt at a verse in a distant faith, when a chant in a foreign tongue resonated like a familiar song, only to be met with dismissive glances or whispered warnings. You're not crazy and you're not alone. Others have felt that same tug. The sense that truth cannot be confined to a single banner, that what stirred your soul in a remote temple or in the hush of a monastery chapel belongs to you as much as anyone. Behind the facades of control and conformity, hidden threads of divine wisdom weave through every tradition, waiting for you to trace them back to their source. Your journey so far has been marked by moments of confusion and aching rejection. You've sat in pews where every hymn felt forced, every prayer sounded hollow, and you walked away feeling more lost than when you arrived. You've tried to fit the mold, memorizing creeds, reciting liturgies, attending rituals, but each ceremony left a nagging emptiness, as if you were acting out someone else's story. You remember the sting when family members labeled you heretic for questioning the mantras you once repeated without thought. You recall the sharp ache of your own uncertainty, the night spent scrolling through forums seeking answers, only to find more questions. That sense of being adrift, of searching for meaning in waters too shallow to sustain your spirit, has a purpose you've yet to realize. Yet what you perceive as struggle is part of a grander unfolding, a divine curriculum tailored to awaken your deeper sight. In Zephaniah 3 verse 9, the prophet promises, "Once more I will refine the speech of the peoples, that all of them may call upon the name of the Lord and serve him with one accord." Your disenchantment was never a curse, but a refining fire, purging what was superficial, so you might embrace a purer language of the heart. Each moment of faithlessness, each ritual that rang hollow, was chiseling away the unnecessary, exposing the core of truth that transcends every label. This is your invitation to step beyond the classroom of conformity and enter the hall of eternal wisdom, where all paths converge. Already, you are witnessing the stirrings of this transformation in your life. You may find yourself drawn to readings from Taoist sages as readily as you devour parables from forgotten prophets, each offering a glimpse of the same unnameable source. A fleeting pattern in a dream might echo an insight you read in a Hindu scripture, guiding you toward clarity you've craved for years. You notice that sacred symbols begin to appear in your everyday world, a lotus unfurling in a neighbor's garden, a Celtic knot on a stranger's necklace, a whispered phrase from a Sufi poem drifting through a podcast. These are not coincidences. They are signposts planted by divine timing, aligning your curiosity with revelations meant just for you. Behind the scenes, unseen forces are orchestrating encounters that bridge every tradition you explore. The dead ends of your past, the friendships that dissolved over theological disagreements, the mentors who judge your eclectic leanings, were not failures, but necessary dissolutions to clear the way for true connection. You might suddenly meet a teacher of esoteric practices who speaks your language, or overhear a conversation that unlocks an ancient puzzle you carried in your spirit. These synchronicities are the work of a higher hand, assuring you that no matter how scattered your interests may seem, your path is being guided by the same universal pulse. Your faith is not a matter of picking sides. It is an allegiance to the source that animates all life. Now, you stand at a crossroads of realization and resistance. It is natural to fear what you cannot define, to cling to the certainty of a single tradition rather than embrace the vastness of unity. You may hesitate, worry that stepping beyond labels means losing your identity, as if faith were a garment you might shed by mistake. Yet true alignment demands that you transcend comfort zones and embrace the mystery that calls to your soul. This is no mere wanderlust. It is a sacred leap into a space where every belief is not a boundary, but a doorway. The moment to decide has arrived. Will you remain tethered to familiar, or will you rise into the boundless embrace of universal truth? With clarity on the horizon, it is time to claim your unique place in this unfolding tapestry. Release the fear that keeps you tethered to one corner of the divine map. Speak aloud the intention to honor every wisdom that resonates within you. Begin each day by meditating on a verse from tradition you've yet to explore, or by blessing yourself with a simple ritual drawn from a culture outside your own. Seek out those who celebrate spiritual diversity, rather than condemn it. Journal the threads you uncover, phrases, symbols, encounters, and watch as they weave together into a living mosaic of your journey. In these acts, you fortify your identity not as a disciple of one path, but as a radiant tapestry of all paths. You are no longer a fragmented soul searching for belonging. You are a vessel of divine unity destined to illuminate the common ground where all faiths meet. Your recognition of truth beyond labels is not a rejection of religion, but the birth of a higher faith, one that honors every sacred wellspring and drinks deeply from them all. Comment truth if this resonates with the awakening stirring within you, if you feel the divine thread weaving your story into the eternal tapestry. The journey ahead will demand courage and humility, but remember, in your unity lies the power to heal divides and to guide others toward the light that shines in every heart. Special thanks to our current members who walk this path daily with us. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Spiritual fluidity. Have you ever felt the currents of your spirit pulling you in different directions at once? Yearning for the silent stillness of a Buddhist Zendo one moment and the fervent song of a gospel choir the next, and wonder why you can't simply settle into one stream of faith? Perhaps you sense a deep frustration at being labeled a wanderer or outsider, as if your heart's vast landscape could be confined by a single fence. You are not alone in this. Many who carry the chosen one's mark feel the tug of multiple traditions, each offering its own glimpse of the divine. What you're experiencing matters, because beneath that restlessness lies a powerful truth. Your soul was never meant to be bound by one form. In the passages that follow, you'll discover why your fluid spirit is not a flaw, but the sign of a deeper awakening, and how embracing this flow will unlock revelations they never wanted you to see. For too long, you have borne the weight of not belonging. You sat in circles where each practice felt foreign and watched as your eclectic rituals, be they lighting candles to honor ancestors or chanting mantras at dawn, were met with confusion or outright rejection. You remember the sting of family members insisting that true faith meant a single creed, the ache of explaining why you felt drawn to Sufi poetry after a morning of meditation. There have been nights when you doubted your own instincts, wondering if you were simply chasing novelty or worse, if you were destined to drift forever without landing. That emotional burden has made you question your purpose and wonder whether true devotion even allows for exploration. Yet these struggles were never random. They are the crucible of your spiritual preparation. In the lesser-known prophecy of Habakkuk, the psalmist declares, "The Lord God is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and sets me on high places." Habakkuk 3 verse 19. This image speaks directly to you, one whose feet are called to roam across diverse terrains of belief. Your periods of searching, of tasting different waters, have been God's way of forging your agility, your ability to navigate every path with grace. This turning point is your invitation to see that every detour was part of divine syllabus designed to teach you resilience, discernment, and the art of sacred synthesis. Now, you begin to notice the signs that this fluidity is bearing fruit. You find that a mantra learned in a yoga class evokes the same stillness as a psalm you once memorized. A piece of Sufi poetry resonates with the wisdom you gleaned from an ancient Christian mystic, and suddenly two worlds merge in your heart. In daily life, You catch glimpses of this alignment. A co-worker's passing remark mirrors a teaching from a Zen master. An accidental stumble upon a Taoist text offers the answer to a prayer you uttered hours before. These synchronicities are not mere chance. They are the subtle creases of divine timing, folding your disparate experiences into a coherent tapestry of insight. Behind the scenes, unseen forces are at work to smooth your journey. Every time you face resistance, doors that wouldn't open at churches, awkward silences at meditation groups, it was not rejection but redirection. Divine guardians have been guiding you toward teachers who speak your language of the soul, orchestrating meetings that feel like destiny rather than coincidence. You may recall the moment a stranger handed you a book on indigenous rituals just when you needed to remember the Earth's heartbeat, or when a song from a distant tradition rose in your mind to calm your doubts. These interventions reveal that your faith is not an arbitrary preference, but a purposeful alignment with a universal current that flows through all creation. At this crossroads, you may feel the urge to retreat, clinging to the safety of a single tradition rather than embracing the endless horizon before you. Fear whispers that if you accept this divine fluidity, you will lose your identity or alienate those you love. Yet true alignment calls for a leap of faith that transcends old comforts. It demands that you move from simply recognizing the signs to fully embodying them, to let your practice be shaped by resonance rather than prescription. This is a sacred decision point, to step into the vastness of your calling, trusting that the same spirit that guided prophets across deserts now moves within you, guiding your every step. Now that you see the path unfolding, claim your place in this grand river of revelation. Release the doubts that anchor you to smaller streams. Speak your intention aloud. I am a vessel of divine unity, flowing freely into every expression of sacred. Carve out moments each day to explore a new practice, be it contemplative prayer, chanting, or silent walk of meditation, and allow your heart to resonate with what feels alive. Connect with fellow seekers who celebrate spiritual diversity, for in community your current gains strength. Document your journey in a journal, noting every synchronicity and insight, so you can look back and see how the waters of your faith have carried you. You stand now as more than a mere traveler. You are a bridge between traditions, a living testament to unity that lies beneath every creed. Your fluid spirit dissolved the barriers they erected, proving that no single dogma can contain the breadth of divine truth. By embracing this flow, you fulfill a higher calling, to guide others toward the same freedom, to show that the current of spirit knows no walls. Comment flow if this message resonates with the depths of your soul, and you are ready to follow wherever the divine current leads. The journey is boundless, and your spirit is free. Step forward into the oneness you were born to embody. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters. Your belief matters. And your light is felt here. Disillusionment with organized religion. Have you ever sat in a pew or a prayer circle, heart heavy with the feeling that something vital is missing, yet too afraid to admit it out loud? You have sensed the tension between the words they recite and the silence you feel in your soul, wondering if you're the only one who hears that quiet, urgent whisper calling you away from the empty rehearsals of faith. You lie awake at night wondering if your doubts mean you lack devotion, or if, instead, they signal a deeper hunger for something real. You are not alone in this disillusionment, and it matters because within your unrest lies the key to a freedom they never wanted you to claim. Stay with me, for what you uncover here will reveal truths hidden behind the walls they built. For years, you have carried the ache of disappointment when rituals that promised connection left you colder than before. You remember the sting of forced smiles at potlucks that felt more like transactions than celebrations, the hollow echo of repetitive confessions that never seemed to touch the heart of your pain. You watched leaders clad in fine robes preach compassion, then turn away from the outcast claiming healing. You have felt the shame of leaving the sanctuary, heart pounding, as if betraying your own kin, but each ceremony tightened the chains around your spirit rather than loosen them. That struggle, the constant tug between wanting to belong and feeling betrayed when you did, has worn you thin, but has also primed you for profound awakening. Yet this exact struggle has been woven into a divine curriculum designed to awaken you to your true calling. In the book of Hosea, we read that the Lord said, "I will allure her, bring her into the wilderness, and speak tenderly to her." Hosea 2 verse 14. Just as Israel was drawn away from empty idols into the desperateness of the desert where healing began, you have felt a pull out of glittering altars of hypocrisy into the raw spaces of your own heart. This wilderness was never abandonment but invitation. An invitation to shed the facades of blind obedience and exchange them for the clarity of direct communion. Your disillusionment is not a stumbling block, but the pivot point of your spiritual transformation. Already, subtle signs of transformation are weaving their way through your days. You notice that passages you once skimmed now sing with fresh urgency, as if the words themselves are bending to meet you. You might feel a surge of compassion when a stranger shares a grief that echoes your own, or you catch yourself pausing in awe at a bird's song. Sensing creation's praise more powerfully than any hymn, patterns emerge. A neighbor gifts you a poem lifted from Middle Eastern mystics. A friend sends an excerpt from a Zen master without explanation, and you realize these synchronicities are not random. They are breadcrumb trails leading you away from hollow structures toward the living core of divine presence, aligning your life with a higher purpose that cannot be contained by any institution. Behind the scenes, unseen hands are actively dismantling every barrier that once held you captive. Each trial of faith you endured, each time you dared to question only to face rebuke, was not punishment but preparation. In 2 Chronicles 16 verse 9 it is written, "For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him." This loyal heart is yours. Divine forces have been scanning the horizon for your moment of surrender, ready to step in and guide you when you turn away from man-made facades and toward authentic devotion. Every closed door, every withering tradition, every broken promise was a strategic move to clear the path for your emergence into freedom. At this crossroads, many retreat in fear of the unknown, clinging to fragments of safety offered by what they know, even if those fragments once cut them. You may worry that stepping fully into your own power means losing community, or that the wilderness offers only loneliness rather than liberation. Yet true alignment requires more than recognizing the facade. It calls for a bold decision to walk to the opening that appears when you let go of old structures. This is your sacred moment to decide if you will remain bound to traditions that hollow your spirit or embrace a living faith that feeds your soul. Fear not the unknown, for it holds the treasure you have sought. Now that you recognize the currents shifting beneath you, claim your power and step into this new reality. Release the shame of questioning and the guilt of leaving behind what no longer serves your highest good. Speak to your spirit each morning with affirmations of purpose. I choose authenticity. I choose truth. I choose liberation. Seek out practices that resonate deeply, whether that's prayer spoken from your heart, meditation that stills your mind, or acts of service that translate compassion into action. Surround yourself with fellow seekers who honor your journey rather than judge your path. Document every insight, every synchronicity, so that each day you see the map of your awakening unfurling before you. You stand now at the threshold of something vast and life-changing. Your disillusionment has led you here, to a space where genuine encounter replaces empty ritual, where your direct communion with the divine takes precedence over second-hand doctrines. This moment marks the end of playing small and the beginning of stepping into the fullness of your destiny. Comment freedom if this message resonates with the stirrings in your soul and you are ready to walk beyond the empty structures they built. The journey ahead is both your birthright and your invitation. Take the first step into the light they sought to hold back. Divine experience over blind faith. Have you ever opened a sacred text with high hopes, only to feel the words slipping past your mind like water through your fingers, leaving no warmth in your bones? You sit in stillness, heart heavy with longing, craving a touch beyond ink and paper, yearning for a living flame that ignites your spirit. You question whether devotion is meant to be measured by how many verses you can recite or by the spark in your soul when the world falls silent. You are not alone in this ache. Countless seekers have stared into the pages of tradition and found only echoes of someone else's faith. But there is more here, hidden currents of presence that run deeper than dogma, waiting to be discovered. For too long, You may have felt trapped between reverence for the stories passed down and frustration at their distance from your daily life. You remember the nights you knelt, whispering prayers into darkness, hoping for an answer, only to rise with the same unquiet questions. You have watched gatherings swell with ritual, yet leave hearts empty, seen fervent worship become rote performance, and felt the sting of being labeled cold when your spirit remained unmoved. There are moments when you long for a burst of clarity, a knowing that transcends belief and plunges straight into the well where faith and experience meet. This struggle is not a reflection of failure, but a sign that your spirit is ready for something far more vibrant. What you have endured is part of grand design, a divine choreography preparing you to step beyond second-hand faith into first-hand revelation. In the lesser-known account of Bezalel in Exodus 31 verses 2-5, we learn that God filled him with the spirit of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to craft the tabernacle. That same spirit is available to you, not merely to guide your hands, but to awaken your heart. Your longing for a living encounter is the prelude to that filling. Each moment when you felt your prayers dissolve into silence was a quiet preparation, shaping you into a vessel ready to bear not just teachings, but the very presence from which they flow. Now, subtle signs of transformation are weaving their way into your everyday world. You might catch yourself pausing at sunrise, not out of habit, but drawn by a soft glow that seems to whisper, "This is your moment." A phrase in a song might lift you into tears, as though you're hearing an anthem written for your soul. In conversation, a stranger's offhand remark may resonate like a message carved into your heart. You awaken with vivid dreams that carry more weight than any lecture you've ever attended, dreams in which landscapes of light open before you and you know, without a doubt, that you are seen. These are the gentle tremors of divine presence making itself known. Behind the scenes, powerful forces are at work, clearing the debris from your path, so that your steps may be guided by spirit rather than routine. Every disappointment in your past, doors closed, voices silenced, moments of abandonment, serve not to punish but to position you for a breakthrough. In Zechariah 4 verse 6, the prophet declares, "Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of hosts." Your true power lies not in your own will, but in the living breath that animates all creation. When you dare to lean into the whispers of your heart, you activate a divine partnership that aligns circumstance, timing, and opportunity in ways that astonish the mind. As these forces converge, you may find yourself hesitating at the threshold of the unknown. Fear of disappointment can lure you back to the hollow comfort of dogma, where no fresh light can blind you. You might worry that embracing personal encounter leaves you vulnerable, expose a doubt to the ridicule of those who cannot fathom a faith without structure. Yet this is precisely the moment when true alignment demands courage. It calls for more than acknowledgement of movement. It requires surrender to the flow of presence that reshapes your identity. To resist now is to cling to shadows when the sun itself beckons. You stand at a sacred crossroads where decision births destiny. Now that you see the glimmers of divine presence, step forward with intention. Release the chains of expectation that bind you to second-hand faith, and speak aloud your willingness to be led by the Spirit itself. Cultivate practices that invite encounter, a silent vigil at dawn, a simple breath prayer repeated until the words dissolve into pure being, a moment of gratitude summoned in the grip of anxiety. Seek out companions who share your hunger, and honor every experience, no matter how brief, as evidence of reality that transcends doctrine. In these acts, you anchor truth in your daily life. You are no longer merely a believer. You are a living conduit of the divine presence that moves in secret and in splendor. Your encounters, those moments of unbidden insight, of goosebumps rising along your arms, of tears that fall without warning, are proofs that faith is not a relic of the past, but a pulse in the present. Comment encounter if you feel the stirrings of the sacred flame within you, if you long to stand the fire of direct communion rather than cower in the shadows of tradition. The journey ahead is yours to claim, and every step taken in openness draws you deeper into the mystery that awaits. Born for a higher mission. Have you ever felt a fire smoldering in your chest, as if the breath you took at birth carried a secret charge, only to have that flame doused by whispers that your gifts were vanity? You lie awake, heart pounding, haunted by the echo of your own potential, wondering if the world even notices the light you carry. You sense the tension between your yearning to fulfill a higher calling and the pressure to conform to small expectations. You are not alone in this. Others have felt that same spark, only to have it dismissed by voices that fear anything they cannot control. Yet within your restlessness lies the beginning of a revolution, a revelation that you were never meant to live a scripted life, but to write your own chapter in a cosmic story. Prepare yourself, because the truths you will embrace here will reshape everything you thought possible. For too long, you have navigated life like a ship without a compass, watching as every direction promised something meaningful, yet delivered only emptiness. You remember the sting of criticism when you shared a bold idea and were told it was too much, the ache of rejection when mentors dismiss your insights as dreams too wild to chase. You have felt the weight of purpose pressing on your spirit, only to bury it beneath daily routines and obligations that offered no satisfaction. There have been moments when you wondered if your vision was merely a mirage, if your struggle to find significance meant you were chasing shadows. That aching search for meaning has shaped you, honing your sensitivity to the divine call that resonates in every heartbeat. Yet every step of your journey, even the wrong turns and stumbling blocks, has been part of a divine education designed to prepare you for greatness. In Micah 3 verse 8, the prophet declares, "But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Lord and of justice and might, to declare to Jacob his transgression and to Israel his sin." Like Micah, you have been endowed with a spirit of purpose greater than your own making. The challenges you faced were not arbitrary. They were the crucible forging your resolve, teaching you to stand when others would fall, to speak truth when silence felt safer. This turning point marks the moment when you recognize that every hardship has been a stepping stone toward fulfilling your destiny. Now, subtle signs of transformation are weaving themselves into the fabric of your life. You might discover that a conversation you once brushed aside now contains the seed of a breakthrough. You notice renewed courage surging through your decisions, as if your very will has been tempered by unseen hands. A chance compliment from a stranger or an unexpected nod from a respected peer serves as a confirmation that your voice carries weight. You find yourself drawn to insights that once fell out of reach, assembling pieces of a grand puzzle that align with eerie precision. These are the ripples of change, evidence that the winds of destiny are filling your sails and guiding you toward shores you once thought unreachable. Behind the curtain of your daily existence, powerful forces are orchestrating the circumstances that herald your elevation. Every door that slammed in your face was a signal that you were being directed toward a grander stage. Synchronicities, like finding just the right text when you need it or bumping into a mentor on the verge of revealing a critical insight, are not coincidences but divine signposts. You may recall how Joseph's brothers cast him into darkness only so he could rise to save nations. Genesis 50 verse 20. And now you understand that your own setbacks were stepping stones to your greatest impact. Faith and manifestation converge here. Your belief in the mission summons the very events that bring it to life. At this sacred juncture, many falter, tempted to retreat into the safety of anonymity rather than embrace the spotlight of purpose. You might worry that stepping fully into your power will demand sacrifices, of relationships that prefer the status quo, or of comforts that keep you small. Yet every fear you hold is a threshold to cross. True alignment calls not merely for recognizing the signs, but for leaping across the chasm of doubt into the realm of action. This moment is an invitation to choose decisively. Will you let hesitation tether your spirit, or will you launch yourself into the destiny waiting to be claimed? The choice you make here echoes throughout eternity. Now that you feel the tide of transformation rising, seize your place in this unfolding story. Release the fears that chain you to lesser ambitions. Speak your purpose aloud in the quiet of dawn, declaring, "I am a beacon of unity, a vessel of divine love, a catalyst for awakening." Cultivate rituals that honor your calling, whether that is a daily moment of reflection, a journal of inspired ideas, or a small act of service that channels your gifts to others. Your spirit was made to roam, to resonate, and to reign in a freedom that transcends every label. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment, "I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul." Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all supporting members for shining your light so brightly. 4 full prophetic revelations daily. Join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Stay free, stay fierce, and remember, they can never confine the chosen.